This episode is brought to you by Dashlane. Keep yourself and your data safe online with a free account from Dashlane. Every 4 years, a huge portion of the American population turns out to cast their ballot in the presidential election. This number is usually over 100 million people, or roughly 50 to 60% of the voting age population. All these millions of people count on voting systems to accurately record their choices and thereby ensure the proper function of American democracy. The problem is, many of the country's voting machines are woefully outdated, or at severe risk of remote tampering. If we can't ensure the safe operation of our voting machines, any semblance of democracy goes out the window. In this episode, we're going to take a look at just how dire the situation is and what's being done to fix it. During and after the 2016 presidential election, fears of voting machine vulnerabilities began cropping up all over the country. Investigations were mounted, and in some cases it was revealed that there were critical security flaws in the machines used to record ballots. Some people were quick to assume foul play, and while that is certainly possible, there are bigger, less dramatic problems. First, there's the age of the equipment. Many counties have been using the same machines for almost 2 decades, often running software as outdated as Windows XP, and which have been unsupported by the manufacturer for years. So what does that mean? If an exploit is found for one of these machines, that means all of that product line is vulnerable, and will continue to be open for attack because the machines don't get security updates anymore. To illustrate just how susceptible these machines are to tampering, computer scientists and academics have been buying and hacking them. One high-profile example was the 2017 DEF CON hacking conference, where security experts published a report showing how they had compromised a whole suite of voting machines and exposed absurdly poor programming. This revelation resulted in the state of Virginia decommissioning their voting machines and switching to paper ballots, which are, in theory, more secure. Another big problem is the fact that the companies who own and manufacture these machines are privately owned, very secretive, and actively try to prevent security experts from analyzing their equipment. They don't offer the code to anyone for probing, and have even threatened legal action against anyone who tries to find weaknesses in their machines. There are no technical standards for voting machine manufacturers, and they enjoy incredibly limited government regulation, basically allowing them to sell whatever they want. So, to recap, the voting population depends on 20-year-old machines running easily exploitable software, the machines themselves don't have to comply to any security standards, the companies refuse to work with security experts, and in some cases the machines have even been found to be remotely accessible despite claims to the contrary. How do we fix this? The seemingly obvious answer would be to switch to newer machines that provide a paper trail, that is, a physical copy of all ballots that can be verified and stored in secure lockboxes to settle any discrepancies. Some states and counties are trying their best to upgrade their equipment before the 2020 election, which is expected to be contentious to say the least, and it would be best for everyone if the outcome was more easily verifiable. Williamson County, Tennessee, for example, has just made the transition to newer ImageCast voting machines with optical scanners, a significant change from the old technology they've used since 2006. These new hybrid ballot marking devices, or BMDs, should offer another layer of accountability within the system. The process, while different from what many voters may be used to, is fairly simple. You make your selections on a touchscreen voting machine, which then prints out a paper copy for you to look over. If everything looks accurate, you insert it into the optical scanner, which counts the ballot and stores the physical copy in a secure lockbox. This will allow actual human election officials to audit the election if necessary. But as with anything, these new BMDs have some problems of their own. First, if a voter were to leave any races blank, the system could theoretically autofill those fields without leaving a trace on the printed copy, creating a discrepancy. Second, these machines have an option to allow the voter to submit their ballot without reviewing it, which means the machine can send the ballot to the printer and straight into the lockbox without the voter ever verifying their votes were recorded accurately. This could be remedied by the manufacturer removing that option, or by voters showing a little personal accountability and reviewing their ballot. But that may be asking too much. A third, much more potentially dangerous problem is that many of these new BMDs print a sort of 2-in-1 physical ballot, part designed to be read by humans and part by the optical scanner. The part intended for humans is just a list of the candidates the voter selected, but the one for the optical scanner is a QR code. This might not sound like a big deal, but consider the fact that there's really no way for the voter to decipher if the QR code accurately reflects his or her votes. The list is there for the voter's peace of mind, but the machine will only read the QR code. If the machine were compromised, the QR codes could be replaced with one favoring a certain party or candidate, or random candidates if the hacker's just trying to break the system. So really, we're going into the 2020 election season blind. Some counties using new technology that might solve some old problems while introducing new ones, other counties using old and compromised machines, and still no accountability for the manufacturers. There's clearly only one solution: Every American citizen must make a pilgrimage to their state's capital and place a colored bean in one of 2 giant glass jars to cast their vote. These 100 state jars should then be carried on foot to Washington, D.C. by a citizen of each state, where they will dump the beans into even larger jars before being sacrificed to a bald eagle as part of the blood ritual to ensure American dominance for the next 1,000 years. The beans will then be counted by professional bean counters, and double-checked by additional bean counters. If there is any discrepancy whatsoever, all of the bean counters will be sacrificed to the bald eagle, and the counting process will begin again. The candidate with the most beans wins. While it may be hard to secure voting machines from hackers and other security threats, it's super easy to protect yourself and your own data with Dashlane. Thanks to Dashlane, I can control all of my online accounts and secure each one of them with strong, unique passwords, as well as get breach alerts that tell me when one of my accounts has been compromised. Dashlane is a super secure, locally encrypted password manager for all your most important data. It's a safe place to store important documents and receipts, a VPN to keep your browsing secure from prying eyes, a dark web monitoring watchdog, and of course a reliable password manager that makes it easy to save all your different passwords, autofill login fields, and automatically change passwords if they're ever compromised. Go to dashlane.com/secondthought to try out these awesome new features with a free trial of Dashlane Premium. And if you really want to get serious about your online security, use the coupon code SECONDTHOUGHT to get 10% off your subscription.